One of the hardest things to admit is that we often get hurt by people for breaking promises they never actually made. And I've done that more times than I would like to admit. I would show up for people, listen to them, really listen, remember what they told me, and make space for them when they're going through a tough time. Without saying it out loud, I expect the same thing in return. And when they don't step up, I feel hurt. Not because they did something terrible to me, but because they just didn't care about me in a specific way I expected them to. I think this happens in all kinds of relationships. Friends, partner, family, or even at work. You do something for someone, and somewhere inside you, there's this little expectation. If I were in your position, I would do this for me. So when they don't, it feels personal. You start to wonder if the relationship means the same to them, and whether you're the only one making an effort. Sometimes you don't even realize you're keeping score. You just notice that you suddenly feel resentful. And the really uncomfortable part is that the other person might not even know there's a scorecard. I noticed this recently with someone I know. I'm a very empathetic person, so when someone comes to me and they're struggling, I would really listen and remember what they share, and I would check in so that they don't feel like they're carrying everything alone. But then I realized I started expecting that same kind of care from this person. There was a time I was struggling myself and they were still around. We would talk and laugh, but they never really asked what was wrong with me. And I felt surprisingly upset, like I was being taken for granted. Part of me thought, how could you not notice? I had noticed them, I had made space for them, so why weren't they doing the same for me? Then I realized something difficult to accept. I had never told them I needed that. I just assumed they would know. And somehow I turned that assumption into a way to measure how much I mean to them. The painful part wasn't just that they didn't check in. It was what I interpreted their silence to mean. They don't care, I'm not important. One small action became evidence of a much bigger story, and I think we do that all the time. When someone forgets something important to us, we're not just disappointed, we're left questioning the whole relationship. And to be fair, sometimes the story is true. There are relationships where we give much more than we receive. But we can't judge that based on one moment of disappointment. And I'm not talking about cheating or something like that. That's a whole different story. So we only know what actually happened, right? They didn't call or they didn't remember. There's a difference between what someone did and what we decided it meant. And recognizing that difference has been helping me a lot. It allows me to feel the hurt without jumping to the conclusion that I mean nothing to them. I can say that hurt me without immediately thinking, therefore, I don't matter to you. Now, this gets even more complicated when we're going through a big change in our lives. When you're changing, your needs change too. You might move somewhere new and feel lonely in a way you didn't expect, and suddenly you need more time from your friends. You might leave a relationship, become a parent, an empty nester, or start healing from something. You're experiencing all of this internally. You know how much has changed, but people around you may not see it. they might still relate to the old you they've always known. And sometimes we wait quietly for them to notice that we're different now. We hope they'll show up in new ways and understand what we need without us having to explain it. And when they don't, that old feeling comes back. How can you know me, be my friend, be my partner, and not see this? But people don't always recognize the changes we're going through. Sometimes we have to let them in. When I notice myself feeling resentful towards someone, I try something very simple. I try to separate the fact from the story. The fact might be they didn't call, they didn't ask how I was doing. That's what happened. Then there's the story. They don't care and they don't love me as much as I love them. The story might turn out to be true in the end, who knows? But I don't have to make that judgment in the first few minutes of feeling hurt. I can let that feeling exist first. And based on the fact, I can then express what I need to them. Not as a test, not as you should have known kind of thing. Just honestly saying, I've been having a really tough time lately and I could use someone to talk to. Then I pay attention to what happens. Once you told someone what you need, their responses or actions give you the real information you can reflect on for your relationship, not just another story. I've spent a lot of my life believing that to be truly known means someone should know and understand what I need. Now, that kind of connection is special and beautiful, but I don't think we should expect it from every relationship. In the end, people aren't mind readers, and neither are we. We're all loving others through our own limitations, our own experiences, our own perspectives. This doesn't mean we should accept relationships that consistently leave us feeling unseen. It means we don't have to turn every moment of feeling unseen into proof that we're unloved. I still find myself doing this, waiting for people to notice, and I'm just being human for that. But I also try to be more honest with myself about the difference between wanting to be understood and expecting someone to understand something I've never communicated. Especially during times of change in my life, sometimes people around me aren't failing to meet me halfway. They just don't know where halfway is. After I show them, I'll find out whether they can meet me there or not. Either way, I will know something real. I think that's better than silently keeping a scorecard while waiting for someone to fail a test they never knew they were taking. You don't have to stop wanting people to meet you halfway. Just give them a chance to know where your halfway is. That is what I have for you this week. If that resonated, let me know your thoughts or your stories in the comments. And if you enjoy this kind of conversation, I post video every week, so consider subscribing. As always, take care of your heart, be present, be kind, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!